You lost the weight, you did it. Weeks, maybe months of discipline, sweat, and saying no to food you actually wanted. And then somehow it all came back, and sometimes it came back with extra. If that's happened to you, I need you to hear this clearly. It is not because you're weak, it is not because you lack willpower, and it is definitely not because diets don't work. It's because your body and your brain are running programs that most people never learn about. And today we're breaking down exactly why this happens, using real science and real psychology, so you can finally stop the yo-yo cycle for good. Let's start with the biology, because this is where most people get blindsided. When you lose weight, especially fast, your body doesn't see it as a win, it sees it as a threat. Millions of years of evolution built your body to survive famine, not to look good in a mirror. So when your calorie intake drops and the scale drops with it, your brain triggers a defense system. Leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you're full, you have enough energy stored, drops sharply after weight loss, sometimes by as much as 50%, even if you've only lost a modest amount of fat. At the same time, ghrelin, the hormone that screams, "Feed me now," rises. So now you're biologically hungrier and biologically less satisfied by food than you were before you started. And this isn't temporary. Research shows these hormonal shifts can persist for a year or longer after weight loss, which is exactly why so many people regain the weight within 12 months. On top of that, your metabolism slows down more than the math predicts, a phenomenon researchers call metabolic adaptation. If you lose 20 pounds, your body doesn't just burn fewer calories because it's smaller, it becomes more efficient, burning even fewer calories than a person who was always that size. This was proven brutally in The Biggest Loser study, where contestants' metabolisms remained suppressed for years after the show, even as many of them regained the weight. So already biology is working against you. But that's only half the story, because the other half is happening in your mind. And honestly, this is the part that determines whether you keep the weight off long-term or not. Most people who lose weight use what psychologists call restriction-based willpower. They rely on motivation, strict rules, and sheer force to control their eating. The problem is willpower is not a stable resource. It's more like a muscle that fatigues under stress, poor sleep, emotional strain, or just the everyday grind of life. So the moment life gets hard, a stressful week at work, a breakup, a holiday season, the restriction cracks, and because the underlying relationship with food was never actually healed, the eating that follows isn't just getting back to normal, it's often compensatory, driven by guilt, deprivation, and an all-or-nothing mindset that says, I already messed up, so I might as well keep going. This is called the abstinence violation effect, and it's one of the most well-documented psychological traps in dieting. One slip becomes a full collapse because the mental framework was built on perfection instead of consistency. Then there's identity, and this is something almost nobody talks about. When you lose weight through extreme restriction, you don't actually become a person with new habits. You become the old you who is temporarily suppressing old habits through discipline. The habits, the coping mechanisms, the relationship with stress eating or boredom eating, none of that gets rebuilt. It just gets paused. So the second the diet phase ends, whether consciously or not, your brain reverts to the identity and behavior patterns it knows best, because those pathways are neurologically reinforced through years of repetition, while your new diet behavior is neurologically fragile, only weeks or months old. This is why sustainable fat loss isn't really about the diet at all. It's about becoming a different person with different automatic behaviors, not a disciplined version of your old self holding on by a thread. Now let's talk about the bodybuilding and training side, because this connects everything. If your weight loss came primarily from cutting calories with little to no resistance training, you likely lost muscle along with fat. And muscle is metabolically expensive tissue, meaning it burns calories even at rest. Lose muscle and your metabolism drops even further, compounding the hormonal slowdown we already talked about. This is why science-based coaches hammer resistance training during a cut, not just for aesthetics, but because preserving muscle preserves your metabolic rate, making it dramatically harder for the weight to creep back once you return to a normal eating pattern. Combine a lower metabolism, spiked hunger hormones, and a psychologically fragile relationship with food, and regaining weight isn't a mystery. It's basically the predictable outcome of how the diet was approached in the first place. So what actually works? First, the loss has to be gradual, because slower fat loss causes a smaller metabolic and hormonal backlash. Half a kilo to a kilo per week is sustainable for most people, not a 5 kilo per week crash diet. Second, resistance training has to be non-negotiable throughout the entire process, because it signals to your body, keep the muscle, this tissue is being used, which protects your metabolism during and after the diet. Third, the psychological shift matters more than any meal plan. You have to move from a restriction mindset to a regulation mindset, meaning you eat in a way you could sustain for years, not weeks, and you remove the all-or-nothing thinking that turns one bad meal into a lost week. Fourth, the maintenance phase should be treated as seriously as the losing phase. Most people plan how to lose weight in obsessive detail and have zero plan for keeping it off, which is like training for a race and having no plan for what happens after you cross the finish line. And finally, patience with your hormones matters. Understand that your hunger will genuinely be higher for a while after a diet. That's not you failing, that's biology recalibrating. And knowing this in advance stops you from panicking and abandoning ship the moment it happens. Weight regain isn't a character flaw. It's the predictable result of biology fighting back and psychology never being addressed in the first place. And once you understand both sides of this equation, you finally have the tools to build something that actually lasts. Not just another temporary transformation followed by another crash. If this video helped you understand your body and mind a little better, smash that like button and subscribe for more science-based fitness and psychology content that actually explains the why behind your results, not just another set of rules to follow.